What's good, Commanders fans? OTAs day 6, last day of the second week of OTAs. Next week will be mandatory minicamp, so Chase Young will have to be there. Montez Sweat, Charles Leno, everybody has to be there. So definitely excited for mandatory minicamp because they will be going harder than what they did this week. So I'm really excited. I'm excited. I know it's OTAs, I know it's minicamp, but it is what it is. I'm just excited for football in general. So we did get to hear from Eric Bieniemy today. He spoke, and Del Rio, he spoke as well. No dust-ups at all today in the presser. I remember last year, the whole dust-up thing and all that. Didn't have to worry about any of that this time with Del Rio talking. But Del Rio said a couple interesting things today. Same thing with Eric Bieniemy. But we're going to get into the notebook from Zach Selby. Of course, the media was not there. I do think fans were allowed to go and watch OTAs. I did see Sam Howell signing autographs once again. For fans, but no media play-by-play or anything like that. So we're just going to react to what Zach Selby had to say and then react to a couple quotes from Del Rio and Eric Bieniemy. So we're going to make this quick because NBA Finals are on tonight, so I definitely want to check that out, man, for sure. So the article starts off with Jahan Dotson made a mistake, but it didn't take long to repent on his ways. During team drills, he had a pass bounce off his chest. That earned some yelling from Eric Bieniemy after the play. You got to catch that. Bieniemy barked from 30 yards away. So he's got to catch that. Jahan had a heck of a season last year, so I'm not concerned about that at all. Players make mistakes, but he's got to bring them down. I remember he had a drop in the Dallas game. The last game with Sam Howell, he had a drop against San Francisco, and then he made up for it and came back. So he's got really good hands. Really good route runner, just a great player all around. He's just a heck of a receiver. I mean, all the touchdown catches he had before he got injured, he was leading all rookies in touchdown catches. But Eric Bieniemy, he's a guy, he's a tough coach, wants perfection, attention to detail, all that. So Eric Bieniemy, you know, he's just he's just a tough coach, tough-minded coach, and wants the best out of his players. And Jahan Dotson came back after that. So he didn't drop a pass for the rest of the day from Zach Selby's article. He hauled in his targets and even got some yards after the catch, some yak. He's a good yak guy. Remember the spin move against the Giants? I love that play. That's one of my favorite plays of the season from Jahan Dotson. Not a bad way to make up for your mistakes. Then Zach Selby goes on to say a couple of the young guys, Kyrick McGowan, a couple of the young receivers, Kyrick McGowan. I've been hearing a lot about Zion Bowens making some plays during OTAs. And Mitchell Tinsley all made grabs that earned some praise from Eric Bieniemy. John Bates was also a reliable target during red zone drills, securing a touchdown around the middle of the field. So that's good to hear from John Bates as well. I've been talking about this tight end room a lot, man. It looks like these guys are showing up at the tight end position in practice. So I'm intrigued to see what they do in real games this year. I'm intrigued. And Mitchell Tinsley is a guy out of Penn State in Western Kentucky. I think he has somewhat of a chance to make the roster. I really do. Kyrick McGowan was a guy last year that was on the practice squad, so let's see what he can do this year in preseason. Zach Selby also says, we haven't spent much time discussing linebackers, so here's a positive from Khalil Hudson. The former Michigan Wolverine blew up a screen pass early in team drills, corralling Brian Robinson before he could gain any momentum. So it's good to hear. Jack Del Rio shouted out Khalil Hudson in his press conference today, talking about that last game against Dallas where Khalil Hudson had 7 tackles. So Khalil Hudson, man, he could have a breakout season. We'll see. He also goes on to say it was a good day for the secondary as the group forced Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett to hold the ball for longer than intended and scrambled to keep plays alive during 7-on-7 drills. They also secured 2 interceptions today, the last of which was from newcomer Terrell Burgess on a pass from Sam Howell, targeting Terry Malone to cap off the day. So Terrell Burgess, that's the guy that we signed who played on the Rams, who won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Played at Utah. Talked about him a little bit. He can play that safety slash corner hybrid safety cornerback role that or safety linebacker or really safety corner role that they're looking for to positional flex. So let's see if Terrell Burgess can come in and make an impact as well. Zach Selby also talks about what Eric Bieniemy had to say about Sam Howell. He said Sam's a very competitive kid. You understand some of the times when he's making mistakes, and the only thing he wants to know is what he can do to get better. More than anything, I'm enjoying just watching him work and how he handles the highs and the lows, because you're going to have some of that over the course of working during the offseason. He says demeanor does not change as well. He did talk about Chris Rodriguez. Now, a lot of people talk about how Chris Rodriguez was kind of looking slow in rookie minicamp and also looking slow on the first or second day of OTAs last week, but it looks like he's picked it up and he's gotten better. Rick Snyder also said that Chris Rodriguez is a strong guy and it takes a lot of people to bring him down, which you can see at Kentucky as well. Like, Chris Rodriguez is a talented guy, man. He's probably one of my favorite picks from this draft out of the 6th round. I'm intrigued to see what he does, and I think he can really have some meaningful snaps on 3rd down and 1, 4th and 1. I know B-Rob's going to get those carries, but, man, I think Chris Rodriguez is another guy that can definitely come in and be another thumper like B-Rob is already. He said Chris is a hardworking kid. I remember the person, he kept saying Chris is a very bright young man. He's a very smart young man. He had 2 good parents. Rest in peace to his mom, but he's a smart kid. He just kept hyping Chris Rodriguez. He talked about Chris Rodriguez. What does he do? What does he need to do to make the roster? Learn from special teams. Learn from the special teams coach. So Eric Bieniemy has a lot of good things to say about Chris Rodriguez in his press conference. He said he takes a tremendous amount of pride in everything that he does right now. I think he's in a good place. Jack Del Rio was ecstatic to have Emmanuel Forbes as part of the secondary and so forth. We talked about Jamin Davis a little bit, so we're gonna get to the presser. That's all for the plays. That's all they have for the plays. So I'm gonna get to some quotes that I thought stood out today, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Like I said, definitely want to watch the NBA Finals for sure. Ben Sandy says, Bieniemy on his on-field enthusiasm. He says, I enjoy it every single day. This has been part of my DNA since I was 6 years old. As long as I'm out here, you guys will always hear me. I guarantee you. We've already heard Eric Bieniemy has been the loudest guy on the field for sure. A lot of attention to details, making sure guys are in the right spots, snapping the ball, getting the ball snapped quickly, getting out of the huddle quickly, even yelling at the center to snap the football and just take command of the offense. Sam to take command of the offense. Sam to tackle Percy Butler after he throws the interception. So he's really been on guys. He's been hyping guys up too and encouraging guys as well, as we've heard. So it's been going both ways for Eric Bieniemy. He says Terry McLaurin is the ultimate professional. He gave a lot of praise to the tight end room as well. He did talk about the extra responsibilities that Ron Rivera's been giving him. Ron Rivera he's been more of like a captain. I mean, of course the captain, but he's been more of like a trying to find the right word for it, but he's been taking a step back and just seeing everything. He's been letting Eric Bieniemy be the associate head coach and be more the vocal leader of the coaches, really. Jack Del Rio as well. He's been kind of more of just a captain, really letting guys take over, like Eric Bieniemy. He says, answers the question about extra responsibilities. He said, Ron is an outstanding coach. I just appreciate him allowing me to have some input, a little flexibility as to help adjust his schedules with some of the things I brought over from Kansas City and how we structured things. It's just giving me a little bit more responsibilities as far as being the assistant head coach. So, I mean, that might have been something they did with Pat Mahomes, changing the practice, having film before and then having practice. That might have been something that Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy did with Pat Mahomes. Meeting with the coaches earlier in the day. They may be something he learned from Andy Reid as well, or took from Andy Reid, or just on his own that worked with Pat Mahomes. So, whatever Eric Bieniemy wants to do with practices, I'm all for it. I'm down for it for sure. Eric Bieniemy also gave praise to Sadiq Charles and Sam Cosmi. Sadiq Charles, man, I guess we'll see, man. We'll see if he earns and wins that left guard spot. But Eric Bieniemy went out of his way to give Sadiq Charles and Sam Cosmi some praise. Sam Cosmi most likely is going to be starting at right guard as well. Zach Selby asked Bieniemy about the tight end room. He said in their development, he said the position as a whole is standing out for all the right reasons, and the quarterbacks are doing a good job of finding them in the passing game. He also said, I'm always open and honest with the guys. If I make a mistake, I'm like, hey, fellas, I screwed this up. My job is to make sure I'm always held accountable. The last thing I want to do is lose that trust. Somebody else asked him about Brian Robinson, how he was doing, and Brian Robinson kind of got upset yesterday because he missed a block, had a couple, rough plays here and there, but he said him and Eric Bieniemy said him and Brian Robinson talked about it. We handled it right then and there, and they moved on. He said Brian Robinson is a great player. He hyped Brian Robinson up as well. So, Eric Bieniemy, he holds the team accountable, but he wants to hold himself accountable as well, and I have nothing but respect for Eric Bieniemy saying that for sure. Eric Bieniemy also went on to say, yes, Coach, EB can get out of hand. Those guys know I want them to strive for perfection. So yeah, I mean, that's it on Eric Bieniemy. And he says, hype for training camp, man. I can't wait, man. Training camp in Owings Mills against the Ravens. I'm definitely going to do my best to be out there to see that joint practice. I'm excited for that for sure. All right, so let's go on. Let's move on to Jack Del Rio. He said he wants the defense to start fast and create more turnovers. Those are the two areas I feel defensively for us to contribute and give us a chance to win a bunch of games. We have to be stronger in those two areas. Bieniemy also hyped on Terry McLaurin as well. He said he wants everybody to be like Terry McLaurin, basically. Jack Del Rio on Montez Sweat, he said when he starts finishing at a higher rate, his numbers are going to explode. He's going to add a lot of zeros to his check when he starts finishing. And that was the same thing with Daron Payne. Like, Daron Payne just had to finish. He was getting there. Just got to finish the play. Same thing with Montez. Montez has had like 8 sacks one year, 9, 7. So he's gotten the production, but he's definitely a guy that I believe can get 11 to 12 sacks if he just finishes on some plays. Didn't really take too much stock in Chase Young and Montez Sweat missing practice. He said it's a voluntary time of year. I'm grateful for the guys that are here. We're getting a lot of good work in establishing our culture. Del Rio said he's really fired up about getting and adding him to the squad. Talking about Emmanuel Forbes. He said Quan Martin is a smart kid that is learning a lot of positions right now, but is coming along well. He also talked about St. Juice and Forbes getting reps in the slot. Said, quote, we're looking at a lot of different combinations there. It's that time of the year where we end up deploying our guys. We'll see, but we're building flexibility right now. So I've heard, Forbes, he played in the slot in rookie minicamp. He played in OTAs. He's been doing a good job. He had a couple pass breakups in the slot position against some of our good receivers. So if Forbes can play in the slot and the outside, I think it's a luxury. I know he's more of an outside corner. You drafted him to play on the outside, but Ron really is about position flex. And if you can have Juice on the outside, and Forbes on the inside, and Quan Martin will be on the inside as well. But we have so many corners where you can just do different things. You can have different looks and different personnel. So I do see Forbes playing on the inside a couple plays here and there. Not a lot, but here and there, just depending on matchups. All right, so let's talk about Jamin Davis. So we got to find a quote that he said about Jamin Davis real quick, and then I'll probably wrap it up right here. He said, we should expect him to be at his best. Del said he's going to be challenged. I'm going to be honest with you. He's shown that he's going to be a valuable piece for us. Now, he did also talk about Jamin Davis making what the heck are you doing plays, and there's some really good plays. I got to find that quote too, but it basically said that, Jack has definitely has not held his tongue at all talking about Jamin Davis last year. I remember the quote he said about Jamin Davis where he basically called him out, challenged him to play better. In the next couple of weeks, he played better. Now, they did have to change. He's not a Mike linebacker. They found that out. He's more of an outside linebacker. He's best when he's playing with a full head of speed, rushing the passer. I think that's one of his best attributes is blitzing and rushing the passer. And they found that out, and he was doing a lot better. When he was thinking less, he was playing better. So they had to find that out, and they got the best out of Jamin Davis for sure. But Jack Del Rio, he definitely had, he said we had more splash plays and less what the heck are you doing plays. We need that trend to continue. So he basically is challenging Jamin Davis once again, not really calling him out, but he's not shy to talk about Jamin Davis at all. Now, Jamin Davis had a better sophomore season for sure. Didn't look lost in the sauce, attacking the gaps, getting off blocks better, just rushing the passer. When he's at that full head of speed, man, he's really, 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 really good. He had 2 sacks on Jalen Hurts. I know the sacks were like right at the first down mark, but when you see him rushing the passer and just flying to the line, flying to the football, that's when Jamin Davis is at his best. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think about OTAs Day 6. Let me know if you think the Nuggets or the Heat are going to win. You can comment down below on that for sure. But yeah, it looked like it was a solid day of practice. And we'll hear more about Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett. All right, you guys, Hail to Commanders. Peace.